Hari Om, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 6. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. In the last verse, Bhagwan Krishna said, Satva, Rajas, and Tamas. These are the gunas that exist in Prakriti, that is in body. They bind the indweller, that is the imperishable self, or Degi. When you say Degi, imperishable self, or indweller, anything you say, it means the same thing. Or Bhagwan Krishna. It binds the Dehi with Deha, that is the perishable body, the gunas. We have seen the example of the rope, the chain, or the belt which we are wearing when we are traveling in a flight. Similar to that invisible belt. Three belts are there. First belt, Satva, Rajas, and Tamas. These are the three belts. They bind the matter, they bind the spirit to the matter. After having explained that Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas are the gunas that govern the individual, that binds the Degi to the Dega, Bhagavan takes it up one by one and beautifully explains each of the gunas. Wonderfully explained. Starting from sinner to saint, without any exception. If you are born as a human being, each and everyone is governed by all the three gunas. So you can't say, sir, that's sannyasi, he is having only sattva guna. This fellow is a tamasic person, so he is having only tamas. No. Anybody, saint to sinner, he will have all the three gunas. And each individual is governed by one predominant guna at a particular point in time. So each individual must know at each moment which guna is predominant in him. So that if any correction or adjustment is required, he can make that adjustment or correction immediately at that point in time. Otherwise, then life is ruined. If at all you have to make correction, see the indicator, fuel is not there, immediately correct. Only when the driver understands that the engine is creating trouble while driving by seeing the dashboard or by the sounds created by the engine. Sometimes katamoda, 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 some sound will come. Then immediately we will understand tire got punctured. He can't drive the vehicle. At that moment, he has to stop the vehicle, make the required adjustments, and then drive so that he can reach the destination peacefully. Similarly, when we understand the mind, when we know that mind is creating trouble for us, by appreciating the symptoms of the mind, then at that point in time, one is required to stop, make the required adjustments, and then move on in the life. The dashboard of the mind and the various sounds is indicated by Bhagwan Krishna to enable us to make proper adjustments. That is the point. That is the beauty of this. Verse 6. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashagamanayam suga sangena bhatnadim jnana sangena chanagam. In the previous verse, I said every word has a wealth of meaning behind it and beautifully placed in that verse. Wonderfully. I am not a Sanskrit scholar, but when I am able to appreciate this much, naturally a Sanskrit scholar, it will be like, I can't express that. It will be like a alcoholic drink. Raw alcoholic drink if you have. How much kick one will have. Similar to that, If a Sanskrit scholar understands this, the joy is unimaginable. In the last verse, Bhagwan Krishna called Arjuna as Mahabhagu. We have seen the meaning of Mahabhagu. One who controls the mind is a Mahabhagu, not a street fighter, not an army which kills another army. The one who is able to control the mind is a Mahabhagu. In this verse, Bhagavan calls Arjuna as Anega. Anaga, not Anega, Anaga. Anaga means Chanaga. Bhagavan says, Sugha Sangena Bhatnadi, Jnana Sangena Chanaga. Anaga. Anaga means sinless, pure, faultless, etc. Bhagavan calls Arjuna as Anaga, sinless person. Satva guna is pure and blemishless. So, Arjuna is also addressed as Anaga. Wonderful. Swami Chinmayananda says, no disease, emotion, pleasure or pain, joy or sorrow, they cannot be defined as such. How can you define the joy that is experienced by yourself? How can you define that I slept very well yesterday? Oh, wonderful sleep. How can you explain it? It cannot be defined. They can be explained by the symptoms and the expressions. Similarly, gunas cannot be defined as such. Bhagwan Krishna gives the symptoms of each guna so that any individual can understand which guna is predominant at a particular point in time. So that if it is required, you can make adjustments to reach the goal. That is important. What are the symptoms of Sattva Guna? Sattva Guna is, it is given in the first line of this verse. Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatva Prakashagamanayam. The symptoms are Nirmala, Prakashagam, Anamayam. When Sattva is predominant, mind is pure, Nirmala. There is no mala in that mind. No impurity is there. A pure mind has clear thinking and hence it is steady. It is Anamayam because it has no affliction, no pain or no worries at that point in time. When Sattva is predominant, there is no worry, no pain you will feel. While Sattva is predominant, mind is clear. It is without any confusion. Naturally, the result is prakashakam, luminousness, bright. That mind is able to understand subtle principles and the result is brightness. Face is the index of mind. When your mind is clear, naturally there is a glow in your face. There is luminousness in the mind and also on your face. Take for example a clean mirror. The reflection of a mirror depends upon the purity of that mirror, directly proportional. If the mirror is fully dirt, containing full of dirt, or sometimes that whatever we call it as rasam, I forgot, the coating behind that mirror, if that is not all right, then your face will be, it will not look proper. You cannot get the proper reflection of that mirror, in that mirror. If the mirror is clean, dirt free, completely dirt free, the image is also clean. If the sunlight gets reflected on that clean surface, the reflection is so powerful that you can't see because of the brightness, luminousness. Why Sattva Guna is important? Swami Chinmayananda says, as is the thought, so are the actions. This all of us know. As is the thought, so are the actions. We have already seen in Vishwarupa Darshan Yoga, everything happens first in the mind before it gets executed in the world outside. That is why when Bhagwan Krishna said, "Hey Arjuna, You are only an instrument. I have already finished every one of them in my mind, completely destroyed them. You are going to execute it. Every plan, everything that is executed in the world, if you seriously analyze, there is a plan. Somebody plans it several days, months together, and then only executes it. So everything that is executed in the world first happens in the mind. Evil tendencies first come in the mind long before it is expressed in the world outside by way of actions. The cause of all evils is selfishness. I want to live, my family has to live. All others, whatever happens, I am least bothered. Selfishness. The evil tendencies will arise only when the mind is dominated by rajas and tamas. Sattva, being free from evil thoughts, it is pure. But sattva is pure, it is clean. There is no impurity in sattva. Wonderful guna. But Bhagavan says in the next line, Bhagavan says, Suga Sangena Bhatnadi Jnana Sangena Chanagam. Bhagavan says Sattva also binds. It is a gold chain which binds you. In fact, it strongly binds the person. How? Sattva binds the individual in two ways. One is by way of happiness, Sugha. Then the other is by way of knowledge, Jnana. How it binds by way of happiness? When the mind is purified from all its agitations, whatever it is, because we are all 24 into 7, mind is full of agitation. When it is cleared of all the agitations, it experiences a greater share of inward peace and happiness. So, normally, an example is required to understand anything theoretical. So, I offer myself as a person for clinical trial for this example, how it binds, happiness, how it binds. When I read Bhagavad Gita, I said, I am agitated, my mind is the most agitated mind. 24 into 7, it is under agitation. But when I read Bhagavad Gita, my mind is devoid of all the agitations. All the problems anyone who has got in this world, I also have. That is no, absolutely the challenges of life are common to all. And then it is the same for me also. I am also a human being, I am also a student. The same challenges which you face or anybody else face, I also face. But at this point in time, at the time of reading Bhagavad Gita, my mind is completely at peace with me. I am able to read with full concentration. And even the subtle truths of Bhagavad Gita are understandable to me as per the mind intellect equipment, as per whatever is given to me by Bhagwan Krishna. I am not boasting about myself. As a person offering myself for clinical trial, I must express what I feel. Then only the result will be correct. Otherwise, how will you know? Unless the clinical fellow, when he takes the medicine, if he says, I feel vomiting sensation or some itching is there, then everything gets recorded. Similarly, when I offer myself as a clinical trial, I must express myself. I say that I enjoy an inexplicable joy. Whenever, even though I 24 into 7, I am agitated person, when I read Bhagavad Gita, I feel some sort of peace of mind, happiness in me. Otherwise, why should I read? A person will go to a place where he gets happiness. No, I have not seen till today anybody who says, sir, this gives me trouble, hence I want to go there. An alcoholic goes to the alcoholic shop thinking that he gets happiness there. A person who enjoys movie goes to the theater thinking that he enjoys that movie, whatever it is. In the same way, I am saying, when I read Bhagavad Gita, I feel some inexplicable joy. Happiness is there. But Bhagavan says this is also a rope that binds the ego. Why he is saying that? Instead of releasing this happiness, instead of releasing me from the ego, it binds the ego. At this point in time, mind is predominated by Sattva Guna. At this point in time, that is 3 to 6 morning, mind is predominated by Sattva Guna. If you bring a BP machine now, I can throw a challenge to any BP manufacturing machine, whoever it is, best in the world. Ask him to bring the machine. And if that machine shows abnormality, then you can be rest assured that the BP machine is at fault. I can give it in writing. So that is the another test I can say for. Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, the moment a person says, I am happy, the ego comes in. That which you want to kill, which you want to remove from yourself. When that person says, I am happy, ego comes in. What we want to actually destroy asserts itself by way of happiness and binds one to that ego, to the ego. That's the gold chain. It is not the complete happiness. Why? Because that happiness, which that person says, I am happy, it is not the complete happiness arising out of realization of self. That's a different kind, purna, complete happiness. That is not there. It is a temporary happiness. When sattva is predominant, mind is at peace, the person gets only a temporary happiness. Then how sattva binds by way of knowledge? If the mind is clean and intellect is steady, a more efficient intelligence is manifest in that mind, naturally. We have seen the example of a clean mirror and its reflection. A mind that is dirt free and steady, the intelligence coming out of that mind is also sharp. A scientist or anybody, because they are able to keep their mind away from all the agitations and then focus on their subject or the experiment, then the brilliance comes out. That mind shows deep understanding because the mind is clean and it is able to focus or concentrate on the subject for a long time. How knowledge binds? So that question arises. Happiness binds, we have seen how happiness binds. How knowledge binds? Again, I am the clinical trial. So again, offering myself as example. Suppose you take 5 people are there who are commenting on my videos. First person says, wonderful explanation, sir. Really great. My ego bloats by 25%. Another fellow says, sir, you are intelligent. Ego bloats by 50%. Another fellow says, this interpretation I have not seen anywhere. Ego bloats to 75%. Another says, wow, ego is complete, 100%. The fifth fellow says, your interpretation is horrible, completely wrong. You please stop immediately your Bhagavad Gita. My ego gets punctured and terribly hurt. The person, the fifth fellow, becomes my number one enemy. The moment I see him, immediately my blood will start boiling. All that I read in Bhagavad Gita, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, everything gone for a toss. Mind gets completely agitated. Again and again I will read that, then get agitated. What I wanted to get rid of by reading Bhagavad Gita, that is the ego. The entire Bhagavad Gita is how to kill the ego. That is Bhagavad Gita. The moment you kill the ego, you cross the Maya. You become one with Bhagwan Krishna. But because the ego was bloated so much. What I wanted to get rid of by reading Bhagavad Gita actually got thickened by way of knowledge. Because all this is because of knowledge. Knowledge is a best friend, but a dangerous enemy. Actually, ignorance is bliss. This is the English saying. Ignorance is bliss. The ignorant Gopikas threes enjoyed the company of Bhagwan Krishna more than the intelligent munis and rishis who closed their eyes and they were searching for Bhagwan Krishna. Bhagwan Krishna was walking in front of him, in front of them. Gopikas threes ignorant, they enjoyed Bhagwan Krishna. Hence, Satva also binds the infinite consciousness to the matter, that is body, through attachment to happiness and knowledge. When one has experienced the happiness and the proudness of knowledge, one gets so attached to them, the happiness and the knowledge. And thereafter, that person is ready to sacrifice anything in order to live constantly that subtle joy. This is what is said by Swami Chinmayananda. When one has experienced the happiness and the proudness of knowledge, then that fellow gets attached so much to it. He will thereafter sacrifice anything in order to live constantly that subtle joy. The happiness and knowledge will become the possession of that person like any other material possession. Because if you are losing money, then gone. 10 rupees you gave extra to the vegetable vendor. That night we cannot sleep. Similar to that, material possessions. When you lose the material possession, you lose your happiness. Similarly, this happiness and knowledge also become a material possession for that person. That is how Satva also binds. This is what Bhagwan Krishna says. Again, verse 6. Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat Prakashagamanam Sukha Sangena Bhatnati Jnana Sangena Chanagam. Next verse we will see tomorrow. Arihom Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu. Narayana 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 Narayana